I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We continue in Revelation. So far, we had the introduction, message to the seven churches, and then we got into the Revelation. The God sitting on his throne, the book sealed with seven seals, the Lamb being Christ who comes and opens the seals. And we read the first six seals. Remember that the restoration of the gospel and the sealing of the 144,000 takes place in the sixth seal. Now we continue this in chapter 8. In this video, we have a Joseph Smith translation. And what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is a translation or correction done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that have been lost or corrupted over the years. The Revelation of John, chapter 8. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, and thunderings, and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters, and the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound. Remember that this is the seventh seal, and before the second coming. The seventh seal does not open at the second coming, which means that the second coming does not happen until after the beginning. So during the 7,000 years. The 1,000 years for each seal is not an exact number, it's an approximation. But look at the devastation that is supposed to come in the seventh seal. The 1/3 part of trees and all grass, 1/3 of the ocean. That's all life, 1/3 of all life in the ocean and all ships, all man-made structures that float on the ocean, 1/3 of it destroyed. 1/3 of all fresh water is turned to wormwood. This is made, it becomes poisonous, and many people die when they drink it. 1/3 of the lights of the heavens, the celestial bodies, are darkened. Now it doesn't say that, remember the imagery here, it's not that you have the sun and 1/3 of it goes black. No, it's 1/3 of the day is darkened. 1/3 of the night is darkened. This gives me the impression not that the sun itself is going out, but dust clouds, mushroom clouds from nuclear bombs, blotting out the sun, making it impossible to see during a third part of the day. Something like that is what I'm getting from this imagery anyways. Now at the beginning it says when the seal is first opened, there is silence in the heavens for the space of half an hour. I've seen a lot of people in recent years talking about, 1,000 years is a day to God, so if we take a half hour to God and convert it, then it comes out to like 21 and a half years. And so the theory is that the seventh seal opens, and then 21 and a half years later, we have all these tribulation, either Christ returns or we have all these tribulations begin. Now, if you want to take that view and you want to calculate it from the year 2000, then, COVID seems to have begun right at about that 21-year mark. The beginning of the final tribulations, the beginning of the final plagues. I'm not sure I buy into this theory, because in order for this theory to work, what their theory is that the silence in heaven means there is no communication between earth and heaven for these 21 years. But then you point out when people who say this, you point out, well, does that mean the prophet's not getting any communication? There's no more, God's not leading the church anymore? Oh no, well, the church is exempt. And if you do that, then it doesn't really work, that there's no more, it's not silent, it's just selective hearing, you might say. So it doesn't really match for there to be silence this way. I have no idea what it really means, nor could I point to a time where there was true and utter silence. But I think that's what it's talking about, is a true and utter silence. If you record a video on your phone and then play it back, and you put your headphones on so that you don't have any extraneous sound coming in, and all you can hear is the video, and then you drop the volume completely to zero and listen. And then raise the volume up a little. Don't say anything in the video. Just film yourself standing there doing nothing in your room where there's no even outside noise from birds and stuff. But just sit in your room for 30 seconds, record it, no sound, making no sound, and play it back. And you will hear a background hum. The video will pick up this background hum in the room. And if you drop the volume down to zero and it goes away, you notice it. I've done that several times. I've had some background sound in my videos that I want to get rid of this, but I can't really just cut it out. It's in a bad place for just cutting it out. So I try to drop the volume down so that you can't hear it. And it just sounds weird, because even if I'm not talking for 2 or 3 seconds before that drop in sound is noticeable, and it is almost a shock to the ears to have an utter silence. So when it says silence in the heavens for a half hour, imagine a half hour where nature itself goes silent in anticipation of what is coming from heaven. A half hour of complete and total silence where nature does not make a sound. If that did happen, everybody in the world would notice. Now, I don't know if that's what it's actually talking about. I'm not even sure what the rest of all this destruction that it describes, a mountain falling, a star falling, meteors, volcanoes, all these things are different interpretations to this. I think most of it is more symbolical. It is a representation of what is going to be happening, but the end result is the same. 1/3 of everything is destroyed. How exactly it happens, is it a nuclear fallout, whatever, we don't know, but the end result will be 1/3 of all the earth being destroyed. We don't really know what this half hour of silence is. I don't really buy into the 21 years of no communication from heaven, because it doesn't make sense to me. And just imagine, as I say, total silence for a half hour. Is this what it means? I don't know. I think this is one thing that we will not truly understand until after the fact. When it does happen, we will be able to look back, or even when it's happening, those who are in tune with the Spirit, those who have that spirit of discernment, as it happens, they will recognize and say, this is what it meant. This is what John was talking about. But we won't know until it actually happens. Now, we'll leave that there, but we do have one very, very minor Joseph Smith translation here. It's very simple. It is in verse 12, where we have in the King James, "And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise." Now, the Joseph Smith translation simply changes one word, so that after the sun and the moon and the third part of the stars are smitten, then it says, "So that the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it." Now, the way that is worded, we have the sun is smitten, a third part of the sun is smitten, a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars, so that the third part of them was darkened. The stars, 1/3 of the stars go out, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise, meaning the moon and the sun are blocked by something. Whether it's a nuclear cloud or a volcanic eruption shooting ash into the sky, something blocks out the light from the celestial bodies for 1/3 of the day, and it prevents us from seeing the light of 1/3 of the stars. Very interesting. Again, the destruction that is being prophesied is clear, but I'm not sure exactly the details of what's being prophesied. So we're going to leave that here, and we'll read chapter 9 next. I will see you there.